Now, what are some of the elements which are used in the mechanical actuation? So, in mechanical actuation, you will be using links, you will be using cams, you are using gears, you are using ratchet and pawl mechanism. You can use chain and belt drives, or you can use many other different elements. So, different elements can be used. The basic idea is to transfer motion, to transfer the force in the required fashion. So, whatever the output of the mechanical actuation system is there, that should be predictable, which means we should know if we are giving some movement to any of the element, what is the output movement? We should know beforehand. Otherwise, that particular mechanism or actuation system cannot be used. So if it is behaving in a very unpredictable manner, it is not preferable for use as a mechanical actuation system. So we should know exactly what is the output motion for the given input motion. Then only a system can be used as mechanical actuation. So link is, we will say that it is a rigid member. It is connected to other links at nodes. We will say that two links are connected at a particular nodes. Then they will be having a relative motion. So when two links are connected, then it is called as a joint. So you can have different types of links. You can have links with two nodes, which means you can connect one link here, you can connect another link over here. So a link with the two nodes can be connected to two other links or at two other points. Now a link with the three nodes, it can be connected to other links at the 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. A link with the 4 nodes can be connected to other links at 4 different points. So links means they are actually rigid members. Their shape may not be like this. So they can be of any shape. So number of points at which you can connect the link, that is called as the number of present in the link. Now using links, what are the mechanisms that are possible? Now in order to have a joint, you should require at least 2 links. Whenever you are having 2 links, if you are putting a pin in between to connect them, you will be having a pin joint so that they are having a rotating motion. If they are sliding one inside the other one, we will say it is a linear. Now if you are having 3 links and you are connecting them at their corners, then it will be a structure because no linear movement is possible. So that is also we have to understand. So one of the simplest mechanisms that is achieved is a 4-bar mechanism. Now if you are having a 4 links of different lengths, then you can have a mechanism to get different kinds of movements. So what are the movements and how they are operating, we'll discuss. Now there is a specific name for each of these 4 links. So you are having frame, you are having a coupler link, and you are having a side link. Now in any mechanism, one of the elements should be fixed. With respect to that fixed element, the other elements are going to move. Now if you are taking the example of the gears, now the gear is mounted on a shaft, the shaft is mounted in a bearing, the bearing housing is stationary with respect to the other elements. Then only we are going to get the required kind of motion. If none of the elements are fixed, then we will not be able to get the required kind of motion. So that is what we have to understand. So frame means it is a fixed member of the mechanism. Now whatever member is present opposite to the fixed member, that is called as a coupler link. So in this particular figure, if you are seeing, this is the frame, that is link number 3 is the frame. Link number 2, that is opposite to the frame, is a coupler link. So in all the 3 figures, link number 2 is a coupler link. Now whatever is the link that is attached between the coupler link and the frame, that is called as a side link. So link number 1 and link number 4, they are the side links. So you are having 2 side links, 1 frame, and you can have 1 coupler link. So most of the cases, how many points, whatever the points you are fixing it, all the fixed points are considered as one single frame. Now there can be 2 other elements. We can name them. One is a crank and other one is a rocker. Any element or any link which can revolve completely. So which means it can make 360-degree rotation continuously. Then it is called as a crank. Now you are having a rocker. Rocker means it cannot make a full rotation. So it can go up to say some angle, then it has to come back. So it will be having a oscillatory motion. So that is a rocker. Now in a 4-bar mechanism, we are having something called as a Grashopp's condition, which will specify when a revolving motion is possible for one of the links. Now it states that if the length of the smallest link plus the length of the longest link less than or equal to sum of the lengths of the other 2 links. then at least one of the member will be having a revolving motion, or it will function like a crank. That is the Grashoff's condition. Now, if you are taking the first mechanism here, that is a crank and rocker mechanism. So the frame cannot move. You are having link number 4, and link number 2 is the longest one. Their length, if you are adding, it will be less than or equal to the length of the two other links. Now, whenever you are attaching a motor to link number 4 at this particular point, then it can rotate. Now, when it is rotating, the link number 1 will be acting like a rocker, which means it can reciprocate like this. It will be moving in the forward direction and backward direction. So that is a crank and rocker mechanism. Now, where we can use this crank and rocker mechanism? So crank and rocker mechanism is used in the wiper of the automobiles. So you are attaching a wiper motor. Because you are attaching a wiper motor, it is rotating. So because of the rotation, this wiper, if you are having a lengthened arm here, then it will oscillate and it is going to clean the windscreen whenever it is raining. Now, next one is the double crank mechanism. So in the double crank mechanism, you are having two sharp links, then you are having the frame and you are having the coupler link. Now, when one of the links is rotating here, the other link is also going to rotate over here. Now, this one is used in the trains to couple the two wheels of the train. So when one of the wheels is rotating, it is the two links are connected. So the other wheel is also going to rotate along with it. So they are rotating at the same speed. So that is a double crank mechanism. The next one is a double rocker mechanism. So in this case, the two side links, that is link number 1 and link number 4, they are having rocking mechanism. Now where you are using this double rocker mechanism? So double rocker mechanism is used in the steering. So you are putting a rack and pinion arrangement and you are trying to, if you are rotating one of the links by some distance, the other link is also going to rock. So it is not going to have a full rotation. So these are some of the basic mechanisms which are possible, and these mechanisms have got wide applications. So they are used in many devices to achieve a special kind of motions. Now in the linkages, whenever you are combining linkages, these mechanisms can have something called as a toggle position. Now what is this toggle position? So toggle position is that position or that arrangement of the links wherein no movement is possible even though you are applying a lot of force. So the example is tailgate of the lorry. So where you are loading the components, you are having some chain or you will be having some levers. Once the door is in the horizontal position, even though if you are standing or you are applying lot of load, this door or tailgate is not going to move downwards. So it is going to hold its position even though you are applying a lot of force. Now if you want to move it upwards, maybe you have to put a motor over here. Once you actuate the motor, it is going to move upwards and it is going to come in the vertical position. Again in the vertical position, even though you are applying force in this particular direction, it will not be having any further movement. It is going to stop. So if you are rotating and if you are opening it in the horizontal position, again, you can switch off the motor. Even though you switch off the motor, this particular tailgate is not going to fall down. It is going to maintain its particular position. So these toggle positions are very interesting ones because in some of the mechanisms, if you want to hold the object in a particular position, then normally if you are having electrical system, you have to continuously supply power to the electrical motor so that it is not allowing any kind of movement, which means you are continuously consuming energy. But if you are using the links and if you are able to create a toggle mechanism, then even though you switch off all the actuation energy, the mechanism will ensure that the position is maintained, and even though you are applying load, it is not going to change the position of the links. So toggle mechanisms will be very interesting. So far whatever we have seen, all the joints, they are of rotary type. They are no linear joints. Now a slider crank mechanism is having one linear joint. Remaining things are the rotary joints. So you are having the joint between link 4 and frame 3. So there you are having a sliding motion. Between 2 and 4 you are having a rotary motion. Between 2 and 1 again you are having a rotary. At 1 and 3, that is a fixed frame, this one is going to rotate. Now it can function two ways. If you are giving a rotary motion at 1, the element number 4 is going to move forward and backward. If you are giving forward and backward motion to link number 4, link number 1 is going to rotate. So where you are using this? So in case of the IC engines, link number 4, that is the piston is going to move back and forth because you are burning the fuel. So the crankshaft is rotating. Now in case of the air compressor, you are rotating the link number 1, you are rotating the crank by using electrical motor, and the piston is reciprocating, and you are doing the compression of the air to increase its pressure. So that is the example of a slider crank mechanism, but the machines where you are using is completely different. One is the AC engine, other one is the compressor. This is what we have to understand. The mechanism can be same, but their applications may be completely different. Next one is a quick return mechanism. Again, it is an extension of a slider crank mechanism. So you are having a crank that is a link here, AB. Then as it rotates, it is connected to a slider. So slider will move back and forth. Now, this is one extreme position of the arm CD. This is the one extreme position of the lever arm here, CD. So this is the extreme position. The slider is at the completely backward position. Now when the crank is rotating in clockwise direction, then the slider will move forward by some distance. Then as it rotates, the lever here will take again the extreme position, that is AB2 will be the position of the crank here, and the slider is at the forward extreme position. So AB1 is the backward extreme position, AB2 is a forward extreme position. Now why it is called as quick return mechanism? Now when the crank rotates from AB2 to AB1, what happens? The slider is moving backward. And when it is crank is rotating from AB1 up to AB2, the slider is going to move forward. Now the crank is operated by electrical motor, and usually it is having a constant speed. So for a constant speed of rotation of the crank, what is the speed of the slider? Now we have to see. Now the length of the arc from B1 to B2 in the clockwise direction is larger, and the length of the arc from B2 to B1 is smaller, which means the crank will take more amount of time to travel from B1 up to B2 than it will take from reaching B2 to B1. So when the crank is rotating from B1 to B2, the forward motion will take place, and it will happen at a slightly reduced speed. But when the crank is moving from B2 to B1, it is the slider is moving backwards, but that motion will be completed very quickly. So that is why we will say it is a quick return mechanism, because the slider is moving backwards in a very less amount of time. Now where is this mechanism used? So this mechanism is used in shaper. It is used in a slotting machine, because in the cutting motion, whenever you are doing the cutting motion, you want a reduced speed, and when you are retracting the tool to the starting point, you are not removing any material, so you can do that particular motion at a faster speed. The idea is to reduce the total time of operation. So this is a quick return mechanism. So there can be many other applications for this. So wherever you want some motion to be at a faster rate and some movement at a slower rate, then you can go for a quick return mechanism. So that is about the different mechanisms that are possible by the usage of links.